Josh Johnson has been assigned to an XFL team. They start the week after the Super Bowl. So
Correct.
That's what, the third week of February.
Second week, I think.
Whichever.
Yeah.
And he, because of the situation with Matthew Stafford, the Detroit Lions wanted to bring Josh Johnson back to Detroit. The XFL has blocked that. Remember the Alliance, which went out of business in the spring, they would allow, if a player was asked to come up, they would allow that.
It actually happened with Josh Johnson. It was when Washington signed him. They signed him away from an AAF team.
So I don't understand this. I mean, it seems like the best scenario would be let him go play for the team, and then when he's done with the team, he'll go back to the XFL. Even if so the worst case scenario for the XFL would be that guy makes it to the Super Bowl, and then he only has a week to get ready for the XFL. This is a team in Detroit that's probably not making the playoffs. Their last game is December 29th. You start the second week of February. Why won't you let this guy go play? He's done by the end of the regular season, and you have how much time then will you have over, a month and a half for him to get ready for his season with the XFL? I do not understand this move by the XFL at all. And quite honestly, it could end up hurting you when all of a sudden other guys that are going to play for the XFL are like, wait a minute, you're going to block us if we try and go to the NFL?
Well, how open have they been? Because I remember the AAF, the Alliance, was like, hey, man, if you get a thing, we're not going to stop you. I'll have to look it up. What was the stated position of the XFL on this? That's what are they backtracking from what they said, or is this what they've been all along?
We've had Oliver Luck on. He's the commissioner of the XFL. We should try and get a hold of him again and try and find out and just say, why are you doing this? What's the positive here?
Where's the game?
There's no battle with the NFL. You'll lose every time in that battle. So I don't understand what the thought process is here when a guy, again, even if the team were to make the playoffs, so it'd be into the playoffs, it'd be less time to prepare. But, I mean, holy smokes, December 29th, he's done. 6 weeks to get ready for your season, and this is the battle you pick to choose?
I would like to believe there's more to this than meets the eye because you're right. On the surface, there is no win to this. The whole appeal of these leagues is supposed to be we can get you to where you want to go. And in all honesty, when we look at this specific case, too, if you're looking at draws to the league, because every time this comes around, we hear, well, get Johnny Manziel, get Tim Tebow, get these names. Josh Johnson's not putting butts in seats. Like, no one is coming to an XFL game explicitly to see Josh Johnson in a lot of these situations. And that's no disrespect to him. That's just the reality of the draw in this. So if you're them, it's not like you're even fighting to retain some guy who's going to be a marquee face of your league. He could be a very good player, but he's not going to carry your league.
Well, again, that unless there's a stated goal that the XFL has said this is the way we're going to operate, which we're trying to find right now, I don't see how this helps them in any way, shape, or form. Because to your point, a lot of people consider these feeder leagues, if we do well here, we can get back to where we really want to be in the NFL. And if this is going to be the way they're going to operate, that's not going to encourage people to go.
That was the whole appeal, and I think what showed that the Alliance from a football standpoint was a success was the sheer volume of guys that ended up on NFL training camp rosters going into it. And I know a fair amount ended up making rosters during the season or practice squads. It showed from a football standpoint that was viable. The business side certainly had its issues because of the depth of finances.
So here it says the XFL players who signed contracts are locked into that league until the end of their season, which wraps up with the championship game the day after the draft. So then how it works after the season, they would be able to sign with teams that are starting their offseason programs, but it's saying they're locked into their deals. But I don't understand that part of it.
I guess maybe the out for Johnson is the season hasn't started yet, so maybe
but he signed the deal.
Way.
He signed. He has a signed contract to play in LA.
Yeah, the league, by the way, assigned quarterbacks to the various clubs to ensure parity, per Kevin Seifert of ESPN. This likely explains why I was unwilling to part ways with Johnson. In other words, we're trying to give everybody a similar type quarterback.
And the average salary in the XFL will be about $55,000, but his salary is said to be around the $500,000 range. That's one of the biggest difference of the Alliance. Everybody made the same. Here, that's the average salary of $55,000 because we heard of one player who chose not to play because he found out he was going to be making about $27,000 a year and was like, I'm not doing that. A lot of guys will play for that because it's getting tape to show back to the league again. But the quarterbacks are going to get paid the higher salaries, and he is at that $500,000 range.
I understand the idea of parity and all these things. Again, if you look at what's going to drive this, it's the overall talent of the league. It is less to me about the outcome of games. Certainly you want them to be competitive, and that would help, but you can have, in my mind, a couple of good teams that could carry this league. We had bad teams in the Alliance that you worked off of. This, to me, overall, is a messaging mistake with what this sends.
What you're saying is maybe a short-term win, but a long-term loss.
Yeah, I don't. Jason, you think of any reason at all why they would do this?
No, but it is a good point that the quarterback system in the beginning, remember, before the draft, each team got to put in a request for a couple of quarterbacks they wanted. They went in and allocated those quarterbacks first. You could still draft a quarterback, but we did talk to Oliver Luck at the time on OTL about that process, and they were very diligent in trying to make sure that each team got a quarterback that was on their list, and Josh was part of that. So that could be.
And he could still be on the list. Again, the season's done December 29th.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Risk of injury, I guess.
I guess. Certainly there's a chance there, but I think there's more negative to this than positive.
Well, the one thing we're learning that the XFL is trying for quarterback parity. The one thing we saw on Monday night, there is no quarterback parity in the NFL, and we'll.
What's up? Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. Don't forget to download the ESPN app, and if you want more premium content, which you do, make sure that you subscribe to ESPN+. See you soon.